But basically, Leigh had a boat stolen by the River Trust
Canal and River Trust.
about a year ago.
About 2 years ago it was. Yeah.
So, what did they? If I'm correct, this boat was moored on private property.
It was moored on the River Trent at Farnborough. Did anybody see the video at all? About a couple of years ago, yeah.
Okay. So, basically, this boat was your boat. They came, they boarded it like pirates, and they stole it off you.
They stole the boat off me 2 years ago from the River Trent, claiming I owed £1,600 in licence fees. Obviously, if you've seen the video, I was disputing that, saying I was at the navigational channel. I was on a private mooring, and I wasn't using the channel inside the canal or the river, because it applies on canals and rivers all over in the UK. And they just seized it and says, you owe us £8,000 because we've towed it from A to B, we've put it on the back of the lorry, and now we want £8 off you. There was a Sergeant Brooks there that day. He was happy that they was taking it. He said, either pay the £8,000 or you take it, or they're taking it. Obviously I couldn't push them £8 just like that, but I didn't owe it them anyway in the first place. So the end result was they took the boat, they drove it to Wales. I followed them for a good hour and a half into Wales. I followed them, and they pulled into a service station, and the police pulled in there, and about 5 lorries from the haulage company what was taking it in Wales all converged on the
Excuse me, I can't hear you at the back of there.
you've got a microphone or something.
There you go. Is that better?
Is that better?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, we went up, I followed the boat for about an hour and a half up into Wales, and they pulled into a service station where all the haulage company all converged with the police and stopped me from following them any further. Obviously it was close to the point where they was taking it to, and the police just said, look, you can't follow it no more. And I said, look, the boat on that lorry's got no finance owing on it, I don't owe nobody no money on it, I've not sold it to this company, so why are they driving up the A1 with my boat? And they just said, look, our hands are tied, they're taking it. I says, I've got no paperwork, they've got nothing. Sergeant Brooks on the video says he's happy that there's no paperwork. So this is the reality we're living in.
There was no war, was there?
Nothing at all. Whether it's your boat, your house, your kids, whatever. We've all got to be aware of this is what's going on. I've got them in the High Court on Thursday.
You've already won.
Well, I got my boat back about 2 months after the case. What I did, I paid them under protest and duress, £8,000 and returned the boat. And then what I did, I filed a case into the High Court in London. And for the last 18 months, they've done nothing but try and get the case chucked out on technicalities, on all sorts of nonsense. And they failed. And I've won so far, all the way up to a 4-day trial in front of a Class A judge. And that's on Thursday it starts, next week. If anybody's interested in coming down and watching it or giving some support.
That's the Royal Courts of
That's
Justice.
the Royal, that's the Rolls building around the back of the Royal Courts of Justice, yeah.
Now this is absolutely amazing, because Nigel is helping you. He's already won a case very similar on another stretch of river further over north.
In London, the Brentford Canal. I've got a Mackenzie friend. The last time we was in court in front of the Master, Chief Master Marsh, the Canal and River Trust put an application into having struck off my case, so I was standing alone with no help, and they failed. So Nigel Moore actually got right of audience, as well as Mackenzie friend, which was rare. So we really are achieving something here.
But something criminal also happened with
Nigel Moore, yeah. Well, what happened to Nigel, going back quite a few years ago, he had a small little boatyard on the Brentford Canal in London, and they come and seized that off him. And he challenged them for 6 years. He challenged them with a barrister and lost. In the end, he got that knowledgeable on the subject. He took it himself and took him to the High Court. He won. Up to present, under Freedom of Information request, it's cost the Canal River Trust £2.5 million. They've had to pay back everybody on the Brentford Canal licence fees they've been paying for the last 10, 15 years, maybe longer.
But something else criminal happened to you because of the costs awarded against you.
That's right, yeah, because at first when they seized the boat and they was claiming £8,000, obviously they informed me that they was going to sell the boat if I didn't pay it within 6 weeks. So I put an appeal in at the county court down here in Nottingham, and ended up in front of your friend, Mr. Godsmark. And before the appeal took place, well, it wasn't an appeal, sorry, it was I was going for an injunction to stop them from selling the boat. And about 2 days before the case, I withdrawn the application because I was informed that they wasn't going to sell it. So I thought, okay, I'll withdraw the application. I got a receipt from the county court in Nottingham, so I didn't turn up. I informed the solicitors, which are Sue Smiths on the other side, that I wasn't going to turn up because I'd withdrawn it. About 4 days later, I got a letter through saying they did it in my absence and awarded them I think it was about £4,000 costs in my absence because I didn't turn up for court. You know? So I put an appeal into that. I went back to Godsmark, and he basically refused me appeal and put another 5,000 on top. So they say I owe net 9,000 now. You know? So I tried to ask Godsmark if he'll adjourn the costs or until the actual final case that I've got in the High Court against him that's been gone through, and he wouldn't do it. So I had to go back down to the High Court and put an appeal in against Godsmark, and I've got the appeal granted now till after the court case. So fingers crossed.
He did a runner that day though, didn't he?
Yeah, he ran out of court, Godsmark did that day, yeah. You know, he says, when he turned around and says, you pay the £9,000, I says, I can't do this. This would be proceeds of crime if I paid them anything, if they got awarded anything for stealing my boat. And then he told me to shut up and sit down, and then I just stood up and asked him, you know, who do you think you are, Mr. Godsmark? And he just ran out of court. As with Guy Taylor at the time. Yeah, I said, you're a criminal. He just ran out of court. It just shows you these aren't courts for him, because if it was, I'd have been done for contempt.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, because they're not courts.
But now this case then, the Royal Courts of Justice, is absolutely massive. This is one of the biggest cases that's going to happen in the UK. It's in, I believe it's in all the law journals. It's been covered by all that.
Yeah, it's been in, well, I had the Evening Post on to me, it's been in the Law Gazette, it's in the Canal and River World. Yeah, it's going to be quite big. It is the biggest case I ever took against the Canal and River Trust and the British Waterways.
They're going to melt down if they have to pay out.
Yeah, it's going to ruin it.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed it does.
Yeah. So basically, regardless if it's like Leigh's boat, the police turned up without witnessing a warrant and assisted the bailiffs. They did it with everyone's house that's had it stolen. They never verify the documents.
No, that's right.
So it's a constant. This is where we've discovered that there is a strategic agreement between the police, the courts, and whoever the claimants are, like the banks. As long as it's a government body, they have got an agreement and they won't listen to anything. It's total corruption.
It's total corruption. It's a strategic partnership on every level. Schools, GPs, hospitals, every level. You know? So we need to go for the head of the snake. And the head of the snake are the head of these departments.
Yeah.
We're instructing the lower levels to just go out there and they're just here to do their job. I mean, we've heard this for the last 5 or 6 years, maybe longer now. You know, it's time to go and see the governors.
Yeah. So if you can make it down to London,
on the Thursday, what's that? The 18th, is it?
15th.
The what? Sorry.
16th.
16th. Yeah, Thursday. The trial starts on Thursday.
Yeah.
Is it Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday?
It will be, yeah. It's a 4-day trial, unless they want to pay me out on the day when I get there, of course. And then we'll be all off home.
How many millions are you asking?
Well, I don't know yet.
They're seriously in trouble because they've already lost an identical case with Nigel.
With Nigel,
This
yeah.
is identical with Leigh's. So they're in for hammering, really.
Yeah,
But I won't say that, but thumbs up for you. So
Yeah, the case, I've got a solid case against them. They have no paperwork. I've got them on 3 counts, human rights, proportionality, and I've got them on a lien on debt, because when they seize my vessel, the boat, they're only allowed to ask for the seizure bill, and then they're supposed to return your boat if you pay the seizure bill. They're not allowed to ask for the licence fees. They have to go to court for that. And what they did with me, they asked me for the licence fees and the seizure bill for the boat, which I paid under protest and duress. So I've got them under a lien. They use the vessel as a lien on debt, which is in breach of their Section 8.
Yeah.
I've got them on that, and I've got them on an ancient law called the Marlborough Act.
It's a very ancient one.
It's very ancient, yeah. In fact, they're trying to repeal the Marlborough Act at the minute, and we've wrote to the law lords asking them that. It's live and active in a case at the minute, so we can't really do that.
No.
So we're just waiting for a response for that. But the Marlborough Act is a very good act, and I advise everybody to check it out. They've repealed a few articles in it, but the 12 and I think 18, and that's still standing. They're the acts that's going to protect you. The Marlborough Act is a very powerful act, and I've got them on that.
So
Yeah.
the statute of Marlborough.
Statute of Marlborough, yeah.
What's the year of that?
I'm not sure off my head, but if you,
It's very old.
it's a very old act. Yeah, if you YouTube it, Google it, it'll come up the Marlborough Act, Article 18, Article 12. They've repealed a few of them, but there's a few still standing.
They're repealing it because it doesn't suit that.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, but we've got to stop them from doing that because we're using it now in an active case. We can't let them repeal it. It's very important we stop that.
The couple was aiding and abetting the theft of the boat.
The police officer?
Yeah.
Well,
1267.
as soon as we've done, if obviously after this case is on next week for 4 days and I win, then we're taking them all to the criminal court. 'Cause it's actually criminal what they did, is they sold it. Then we're going to take criminal proceedings against them.
Especially that sergeant.
Especially the Sergeant Brooks, 2363. He's going to have, we're coming for him for sure.
Wasn't he implicated in stealing a car of yours as well?
He was implicated in stealing a car of mine about a month before. He actually says on the video, you didn't get your car back, did you, Mr. Ravenscroft? I've got the video of that, I'm going to post it shortly. And that's him taking me car off me, saying it's not your car, Mr. Ravenscroft. Yeah.
So basically, you had a narrowboat, so now you're going for the QE2 when you get paid back.
I want to stay away from buggers, trust me. Trust me.
So that was that. Somebody asking a question then?
So you win your case, they pay you out, you get your money. What then changes?
Well, what changes then? If I approve the navigational channel,
Yeah.
everybody in the UK will be refunded who's been on the rivers and the canals and paid licence fees for the last, 20, 25 years maybe. They can claim all the money back, and that's what will bankrupt the Canal and River Trust if it happens.
So we need to be down there to support you then, really.
Well, it would be nice, yeah. A lot of people, another thing what will happen as well, it will show that if the judge says it was unlawful and wrong what they did seizing my boat and they're in breach of the Marlborough Act and they shouldn't have done it, in the Marlborough Act it says they can't seize a man's goods or property on the Queen's Highway, on the King's Highway. If they do, they're punishable by a fine or imprisonment without a ward at the court.
Isn't it?
They had no ward at the court that day, they had nothing. And the officer was happy with a smile on his face. I'm happy that they can take your boat. They say you owe them money, if you don't pay, you lose it. That's a dictatorship,
So you win and you can shake his hand and say thank you, because he's done you a solid doing that.
Well, I'll win and then go for his jugular because I'm taking him down next. Yeah, I'm going to sue him as well. And I'm going to sue everybody who was there that day, including the man who owned the marina.
Now, does this act also cover the highway outside?
The highways.
The highway, so if they've
Yeah.
stolen your car, they've also breached this Marlborough Act.
Shouldn't you also be suing his employer for allowing him to do that?
I'm going for everyone. I'm going for the man who owned the marina because I went into the office. I said, look, they've got no permission to seize that boat. It belongs to me.
Freemason.
He carried on letting him do it. You know, everybody what was there on that day was complicit. You know, as far as I'm concerned.
What you do with go through is ignorance, is found the ignorance of how that's happened. You think he's in on it. Cut the sergeant himself.
They're all in strategic partnership. They're in on it, for sure. 1,000,000%. They're all in on it, yeah. It's one big club and we ain't in it and they are.
I think the essence of the statute of Marlborough was that the king was hacked off with people either being or pretending to be bailiffs acting without paperwork.
That's right.
And the statute actually says that you can't do anything without paperwork.
To protect us from that. Exactly.
Which is happening today.
Which is happening today. And you mentioned, I mean, I can't read and write very good, and you know that's why I need a Mackenzie friend in court, and I need assistance from him. The barrister, QC Stone, has spent the whole afternoon fighting that
You know, Mr. Ravenscroft, how does he know about the Statute of Marlborough? He's not illiterate. I had to dust off the ancient books to find the Statute of Marlborough, you know. People don't really know about these ancient statutes, but they're there.
So this is the difference. What's been happening is these people have got lazy. They're basically trained in the law universities down a certain track. But the likes of Nigel, yourself, we go off track and look at these laws that used to be there that they've ignored, and now we're using their laws against them, because that's one of the things that I always go down, is the process that they failed and they don't know what they're doing. And your case is a typical example.
Fine example of that,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Cheers.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Now that was an amazing story. It's still being written, and a lot of people would have just given up and let the boat go. But he stood by his guns, and he's giving them, in nautical terms, a broadside now, aren't he? So